Hey everybody, Nick Koziol here with That Sounds Terrific, episode 100. I just wanted to take a moment to thank all of you, my audience, for everything that you've done to support this initiative. Taking people and highlighting what they do and their passions and all the terrific things they support the community in is something that I just love to do. And I love all the suggestions that I get from my audience. It's been a great 100 episodes. My guests have been phenomenal and amazing, and I thank them for supporting them by being on That Sounds Terrific. I just wanted to take an opportunity to say that from the host of That Sounds Terrific to all of you out there, I really appreciate this ride and this journey that I've been on, and I can't wait to see where it goes and to talk to more terrific people about the things that they're doing. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already, and also be sure to kind of reach out and tell me other terrific people that you'd like to see featured on That Sounds Terrific. So without further ado, the long-awaited 100th episode of That Sounds Terrific featuring the Dogs. Dogs up!
Do you ever wonder how great leaders in the community make things happen? When they encounter new, unexpected challenges like a pandemic, how do they continue to successfully make an impact? Welcome to That Sounds Terrific, the podcast that connects you with these amazing people. Get insights on what they do to meet their goals, find out how you can help them in their mission, and learn their methods so you can be more successful at what you do. Welcome to That Sounds Terrific with host Nick Koziol.
Once again, it's my pleasure to give you the dog!
You make me wanna shout.
Winners of the ESL Jefferson Award. Since 2014, Steve Ball and the Dogs have played countless shows, but have accepted no money. 100% of all proceeds go directly to the charity they are playing for.
Not only are they a great party band, but these are also among the most generous people in our community. They're always giving back.
An amazing group that gives so much of their personal time supporting not-for-profits in our area. A debt of gratitude to you and the band for always thinking about our community.
We're so grateful for everything that they've done for us. Just knowing these good-hearted people exist make our lives so much richer.
These members of this band give of their hearts, their time, their love, and they are just true superstars, I think, in the Rochester community. And we're so lucky that we know them.
Dogs up! On behalf of the Joy Fund, guys, thank you for what you do for Rochester. Thank you for what you do for the Pirate Joy Fund.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a very, very special episode of That Sounds Terrific. It's the 100th episode, and I am excited to finally be joined by my friends, the Dogs. This is an episode that is like 50 episodes in coming. We've tried this several times, and through a slew of weird coincidences and things, technical difficulties, it's finally here. So I'm pleased to have the Dogs on the show. So welcome to the show.
Thanks, man.
Thanks, we're excited to be here.
Yeah.
So I think we were going to be your first, and then your 50th, and now we're finally your 100th.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it was
Never
it was
right.
50th, 75th, and then I'm like, you know what? We might as well wait to the 100th episode, right?
Yeah.
So, but why don't we do some introductions? Why don't you take us off with that, Steve?
We'll go ladies first.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Chrissy. Newest, just joined the Dogs and happy to be with these guys and making music and supporting a lot of awesome local causes here in the greater Rochester area.
Very cool.
All right, I'm Lou Germano. Thanks, everyone. I play guitar in the band, and I'm Steve's partner in crime. We've been together a little.
Yeah. Like an old married couple.
Yeah. No, very excited to be doing what we're doing, and like Chrissy said, it's just awesome to be able to do music and help out some local charities. So
Yeah.
And I'm Steve. I'm a bass player and chief cat herder, I guess. And so right here, let me see. Right here is Matt Rush, who is our keyboard player, and right
over here
is Dwayne Draper, our drummer.
It's a double D.
Yeah. So
Yeah, unfortunately, they couldn't be with us tonight.
Yeah. It's great to have the three of you though. Like I said to the audience, this is a long time coming, right? And I'd love to kind of start off with a little bit of a history kind of the bands. Like how did the Dogs form? What started the Dogs?
well, there's a mom dog and a dad dog, and so Lou and I, back in about 2014, we together came up with the idea of doing a kind of a live karaoke fundraiser for United Way. We both work for Wegmans, and many people might know Wegmans is very much in a supporter of United Way. So we came up with the idea of having people come up and sing, and folks would donate to see their friends up there with us. And we did that show for 3 or 4 years, I guess. And then in about 2017, we talked about whether or not there wasn't an opportunity, if there was an opportunity for us to do this publicly and go out and find organizations in the community and do that same kind of fundraising. The model changed; it wasn't live karaoke. We, but the concept was the same, which was let's try to raise money for local organizations. And so we've been doing that since I think our first one was 2017.
2017, yeah.
Amazing. And the way that we got kind of connected was through the fundraising. I was working for the Alzheimer's Association. You guys were booked for a gig, and I think on top of that, you just put a post out, hey, we need a lighting person. So I like chimed in and I said, yeah, I want to do this, because part of what the show is all about is uplifting people who are making positive impacts in the community, right? And what better way to help the band, the best fundraising band around, definitely premier fundraising band for Rochester. Yeah. So you heard it here first, award-winning band, right? So that's kind of how I got involved, and you guys got stuck with me, was kind of helping out with lighting. But I like that the band's not only bringing money, to get together for these causes, but it's also bringing a lot of people together.
That's the thing. Like we kind of stumbled on pretty early on that, we definitely, fundraiser to fundraiser varies in terms of how financially impactful it is. It just depends on a lot of factors, but the thing that we knew we could always do was also raise awareness. So it was really kind of a 3-pronged deal. One, it was, let's see if we can raise some money. 2, let's raise awareness about the particular organization, because people are going to come who know us. They're going to come because they are, friends of the bar, and they may or may not know about the organization. So give them a chance to learn more about it. And then the third thing is, some of the folks that are attached to the organization, you talk about Alzheimer's Association, those folks are going through it really heavy every day, right? I mean, that's a very debilitating disease. And so if we can, have some fun along the way, and that's primarily what we try to do, at least, we're raising money, we're raising awareness, and we're letting people have a break from that, that grind that they live every day because they have to. So
yeah. And Chrissy is the newest member. Thank you for taking that title over, because now I'm not the newbie anymore.
Welcome.
What caused you to want to be part of it? Like, how did that part happen?
I've known the guys since back when they were doing the shows with Wegmans for United Way. That's where I met them for the first time. And there was an event that happened where there was a silent auction, and my dad and my brother, they both work for Wegmans also. So the 3 families, we kind of got together. We're like, we're gonna snag this silent auction because we want the Dogs to play at our house. That was it. And we did. We went in on this silent auction. We were like, we're gonna win these guys. And man, we had them come down to the house and they jammed, and that was just awesome.
That was a fun night.
It was so fun, and kind of learning from that's what they were doing, and they were going to continue to do that. And it was just such a great, wonderful, thoughtful thing to do. And I love music, and I was like, man, this would be awesome. I would love to be involved. And then life carried on, and I was busy, married, having kids, and that kind of stuff happens. And
it sure does.
And then it just so happened that you know, there was a situation where they needed help, and I was so, and I still am so just thankful that Steve reached out and asked if I could fill in, you know, while they needed help. So it's just been really wonderful and rewarding, and everybody is very positive. And it's just a really good time. There's no stress, you know, it's just a fun group to jam with.
Wait, there's no stress?
Well,
Little, very little,
very little
stress.
Yeah, it's you got to see this place, and I think it's your dad's house, right?
Mhm.
So where this first jam that Chrissy's talking about, the band at the time, which was all Wegman people, and obviously since then it has changed, but it's like a club. It's like the lighting. What's it called?
We call it Club 9.
Club 9.
Yeah.
House number 9.
Their
right?
house number is 9, and we call it Club 9.
Yeah.
We knew we were in the presence of rock and roll partiers.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I know that, you know, there's a lot of different traditions in bands. And one of them that's like close to everybody's hearts, happens at every show. Why don't you talk a little bit about DAWGS UP, Steve?
Well, it's kind of a funny story. So, you know, there are no original ideas, right? And I'll be the first to admit that a lot of the stuff that we have deployed, I got the influence from someplace else. We were watching a band. I was watching a band, and they did a toast, and they called their toast salute, and then, you know, everybody would raise a glass, and so I said, man, we got to come up with some kind of salute, and this is a true story. So we have this yellow lab at home, and she's a real pain in the neck, right? She gets up early, and my wife and I alternate who picks her up, who goes down and, you know, feeds her, lets her out, whatever. And I'm half deaf from probably all of this stuff, and I never hear the dog. So Tracy would, when it was my turn, she'd have to wake me up, and she'd say to me, "DAWGS up." And so right from then, it became DAWGS up, and that became our salute. And as you know, we engage the audience that way, and it serves a couple different purposes, right? It gets a little bit of the juices flowing, and I mean alcoholic juices, which is good for the venue, and it gets people a little bit more lively, and it also engages us with them. And so you come to a show, you'll hear the DAWGS up cheer once or twice, maybe.
Once or twice is that.
Yeah. But it all started with me getting woken up because the dog had to go out. So
awesome.
What's the best is
DAWGS up then.
Yes.
DAWGS up.
The best, Nick, is when they call for it.
And then we know we're in the presence of our people when they call back. So.
Yeah. And it is a really cool experience. If you haven't been to a dog show and you're in the Rochester area, I highly recommend you check out their website and come to a show, because, you know, there's so many causes that they support, but also the show is just fun. It's interactive. And why don't you guys talk a little bit about, like, you know, your show, what to expect if you come and see the dogs?
Well, I think you hit it on the head. You know, hopefully we're fun.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do is, you know, have people coming out, have a good time, you know, obviously support the charity, but we want people to be engaged and have a good time, get up dancing, you know, interact with some of the other fun things that we do, you know, along with DAWGS Up. But just want people to come out and have fun.
Right. It's pretty neat. We, awesome. The set list is pretty much catered to, first of all, fun music, and some would say it's even bordering on, or, you know, crossing right into cheesy music, but you're bound to see YMCA or you know, Shout or one of those tunes. But so again, like Sweet Lou says, interactive, right? But we try to put on sort of a multifaceted approach to that engagement, right? So we wear matching something, suits, baseball jerseys, hockey jerseys. We dress in a way that we think is fun. Travel most often with our own lighting, so that the show, as you know, you're the lighting guy, so that the lighting is accentuating more than probably if you just walk in the normal club. We've got flat screens on either side of the stage, and we're producing a video show that goes along with and complements the music. And our guy,
Joe Idle,
is a, you know, like by trade videographer, and so, you know, it's we do contests, you know, as you said, the lighting, the costumes, the video, the set songs, and so it's just meant to be like fun. We've got some serious musicians in the band, but we try not to we try not to take ourselves serious. And so that's our deal.
Yeah, and high energy too, right?
Yeah.
We move around and have fun.
Yep.
Trying to get people up dancing.
Yeah.
Climbing up on tables. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. As long as I don't have to sing too much, we're okay.
Everybody's got their lane.
Yeah.
That's right.
As long as I stay in my
Stay in your
lane.
lane.
Yeah, as long as
love
I'm
hearing you guys sing. Every time we're at a show and and there's different songs that we sing and the guys will, do backups, and I just love it. Every single time I hear you guys on the mic, I'm like, yes, it's so great.
I also like
that's where we're all together,
Yeah. Yeah, and I like when you pull people up in the audience. Sometimes it's the MC, or sometimes it's some fans that come up to say, like, a certain part of the song or whatever. I always think that that's great. Like, you guys are very interactive with the audience. You get people really excited. And for the fundraisers, the fundraiser in me is like, yes, because people that have a good time also start to give more money, right? So that's always an awesome thing. So cool. Yeah. So I'm not going to ask like what's your favorite event, because I feel like that's just too attached to like, a particular charity, but maybe can you give me like a favorite memory, or something, funny or awesome that happened that wasn't expected that you just would love to share with the audience?
Yeah, I have one, and I can't remember the venue, but I remember we're playing, and then all of a sudden the bass stops playing. And I'm like, what's going on? So Steve's out in the crowd, and there's a kid in the crowd that he gives his bass to, and he lets the kid start playing the bass. And it was the coolest thing ever. Awesome. So that for me is my favorite, just because the look on that kid's face, he was smiling wide to wide. It was just great, watch him have so much fun. And then obviously you were getting into it too, because you were watching him. So to me, that was my favorite one.
That's not anywhere near where I thought you were going.
No, you thought maybe
that's what I thought.
Yeah,
too.
no. That was my scariest moment when you
That's the thing. Like one of the cool things about this band is that they give me a little latitude in terms of sometimes not playing my bass in favor of doing something else, like leading a cheer or whatever. But in those cases, and there's been a couple of those are absolutely awesome moments where you could see a kid has come to a show and probably is associated to the charitable organization that we're partnering with. And so to have them have that moment, and we've gotten notes back after shows on Facebook or even private messages saying, my son had such a great time. You guys were so awesome. Thank you so much. And so, those kinds of events are really special, and they're all important. We love all of our partners, and I think we have something like 35 of them now. So many of them are repeats now at this point. But those organizations that especially the ones that support children and people with disabilities, Arca Monroe, we just recently did. Holy Childhood is another one, and you've worked with us on a couple of those shows. Some of those are really special because of the folks that they support in the community.
Yeah. Chrissy, do you have any memories that you want to share? I'm not trying to put you too much on the spot. I know you're still the newbie.
I know I don't have a lot of memories, although we've done a lot of shows in the past 6 months. But one that kind of stands out to me, I was so nervous, was when we did the Ronald McDonald House event, because the guys are like, "Oh, this is the big event, it's the big event," and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I'm like, it's my third show." I was so nervous, but just getting up there, and some people are like, "Oh, the suits are cheesy," and I'm like, I love it. Yeah. Like, we're all wearing these suits together. We had yellow matching for Ronald McDonald. And I mean, there's just tables and tables of people, and they're all there for the same reason. And it was just awesome. It was a great night. And there was just, a lot of support for the cause. And that was really, it was really cool to see that happen. And to be part of that was really cool.
Yeah. And you crushed it.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And
you guys crush it every time.
So let's do this. Let's let's flip it on you a little bit, because
Sure.
as you mentioned very briefly, we put an APB out for some help, and you volunteered. Of course, we took you up on that. So, you've been our lighting guy for, I don't know, probably a couple of years now, I think.
Yeah,
and
you've regretted it ever since.
Yeah, I'm sure.
They're like, why did we answer that one?
Never. No, not from our side. We appreciate everything you do. What's a memory of yours of our shows? You've been to dozens.
I mean, I can share so many, but like one that was funny, and I've shared this with you guys before, but the audience obviously doesn't know. But it was pretty early on. It's like my third or fourth show. I worked the lighting booth, and in a lot of ways, to the amateur, the lighting board looks like a DJ, right?
Yeah.
So I am grooving with the music and like really into it. And this woman who had a little bit too many dogs up comes over and she's like, "Are you the DJ?" And I'm like, "What? Are you the DJ?" And I'm like, no, I just turn lights on and off." And she's like, "Oh." And then she just kind of wandered off and started dancing. But
never mind, there's a live band.
And there's a live band.
Yeah, I'm like, there's not usually a DJ with a live band, but whatever, But yeah, it's things like that they're fun. I really wanted to be back, with a band, because I had been involved in music all my life in some way, shape, or form, whether it was singing or pretending that I could play guitar, whatever it may be, behind the scenes and drama and all that other stuff. So this was an opportunity to do something that I miss doing, that I love doing, but also for great cause, because I knew that I wasn't going to stay with Alzheimer's forever, and I'm like, I want to still be involved. And a lot of what this show is trying to uplift people, right, that are doing things that are positive in the community. So I didn't want to like leave the Alzheimer's and then only have like, oh, Nick's not practicing what he preaches, right? And so the dogs give me an opportunity to do that and more, because I'm always trying to find different, gigs for you guys, and then opportunities also seem to arise out of the shows. It's a great networking experience for me, whether I'm doing stuff with this podcast or with U of R and the data science stuff. I've met so many people as a result of the shows that require other kinds of help too. So it's like a win-win-win-win for me. I have not. Go ahead.
I was just saying, we definitely can't thank you enough for everything that you do for us, Nick. Definitely an asset to the team, right?
Absolutely.
For sure.
Thanks, guys.
It brings up a good point, though, because, we mentioned that Joe does our video projection, and, he's videographer by trade, and he donates his time. You've got some, such a great sort of mastery of networking, and you've helped us in that way along with the lighting thing, and you're donating your time. We often, people call us out for the fact that we donate 100% always. We've never taken compensation, but it goes way beyond just the five of us. And we're talking about what you do for us, which is fully donated, what Joe does, which is donated. We have a merch person in Gina Ford. We've got a couple of crowd hypers in Judy and Teresa. Like, these people are all part of this machine now. Really, it's become, and everybody is donating their time. We can't. You talk about the Ronald McDonald House event. We would never have gotten that gig if it wasn't for John Dretto from Maestro Management, who represents us now. And John is also donating his time. And management doesn't get a lot of points for doing things for free very often. Right. And John is fully on board donating his time too. It's like not to go on and on, but Dino K from 95.1 donates his time as an MC. People come and play at our show in between sets. Like, this thing is about like a community of people donating, their time and their energies and their talents, and it's cool, including you.
Even where you guys are right now, like the practice facility that you're in, like, I know that is something that people are supporting you with, and that's why we're hearing music right now, because there's others there rehearsing, right? Yeah. So, but I think it takes a village, right? And what's cool about your band is it's sort of like that connective, the roads in the village. Like you got everything that you guys do leads to something else. It helps people, and I think that's absolutely terrific. I mean, um, why don't you talk a little bit? It's a great transition and segue into like how to book the dogs, like what is like involved in a dog show, and like what should people expect, and what do you need from them too, because it's kind of like they're helping you to help them, right?
So there's a couple of questions in there to unpack, right? Like,
Right.
how do you book us? Well, we have a dog's Facebook page. We have a dog's Instagram. We have a dog's website, dogsforacause.com.
Right.
You can reach out through any of those mechanisms, and it does come in all forms that way. We get approached at our shows, and I also continue to go out and ask, to pursue it outwardly as well. So it's a combination now, after 5 or 6 years of this, that it's a little bit of repeat shows. We're about to do later this year our 5th annual American Foundation for Suicide Prevention event. So some of it is just rebooking. Some of it is we find new shows. Some of it's now that we work with John. But the point is, you can get us by reaching back to us for sure.
Yeah.
What was the second question?
Well, all of those things, all those links will be in the show notes too, just so people don't have to be jotting those down as they're driving or whatever. But the second part of that is like, these organizations also have sort of a responsibility themselves when you're putting on a show. Like, I know getting their guests to come on, spreading the word, all those types of things. So what are the expectations that you're playing a free show? Like what helps you the most when it comes to these organizations?
I'm sure that these folks have an opinion too. I would say, so one of the part of our model, I guess, was that was really meant to be sort of turnkey, right? So we would go out and pursue events and say, like, we don't need anything, like promote it on your socials for us, but we'll find the venue, we'll make the posters, we'll set up the 50-50, we'll at one point in time, we were talking about this yesterday after our show, our wives were the 50-50 sellers. So like we did everything. You just had to kind of be there to take the check pretty much. And over time we've modified that because we've done more shows and our wives don't want to hear the same songs every month.
Right.
So really, what do you hands-on at the show, promote heartily, if you will. And I think that the one thing that I would say is probably more important at this point than anything is them bringing their people with them, right? So we continue to grow our audience little by little, but it often comes in the form of people we know and people that know the bar, bringing that sort of third component to the audience is them bringing their folks. And the event we did yesterday is a really good example of when they really partner with us. It shows in the event. So
we've definitely learned when they're fully engaged, Nick, we do a lot better.
Yeah. So that's why I thought it was important to bring up, because the other thing that happens, I can't think of a single show really where I haven't had somebody that's a kind of a walk-in, that didn't expect anything to be there, like not even live entertainment, and they came in and they had a connection to whatever the cause was, right? And their cousin, their sister, their mom, and how many times have we had that person kind of win that 50-50 raffle and kind of give it back, right? Like they weren't even supposed to be there. It was a sort of that act of God. They come in and they're like, they buy one raffle ticket and they win, and then they like donate it back, which is always like the most awesome experience, right? So
absolutely.
Cool. I know that you are also rolling out sort of a new kind of platform with sponsorship, and I wanted to give you guys an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about other ways to support in addition to having the show and coming to the show.
So one of the things our typical show for us, and many like extend beyond this, but sort of our standard footprint is we'll take a donation at the door. There'll be some form of raffles, probably a 50-50. We'll do a cash call. We'll sell our dogs merch, and all of those things will accumulate and become the what we present to the organization. And so that really winds up being kind of within the four walls, right?
Mhm.
So we can only really take as much as we can from the people that are there in those sort of ways. So the idea is, how do we grow beyond those four walls? And if you think about like dropping a pebble and seeing the ripple, we want that ripple to be outside the four walls of the event. So we did just recently kick off a sponsorship program where we're asking for philanthropic organizations and individuals that want to sponsor our shows. And the important thing I think about this is that they would be sponsoring not us, but sponsoring the event partner. So
Yeah. And you're getting your name out there and your company name out there, in connection with a great band and a terrific cause. So it's a win-win, right? So yeah, I thought it really important that
we may have our first sponsor.
I know.
Hopefully we might have our first.
Very cool. Very
First
cool.
one. We're working on it.
Yeah.
Spreading the news with that. So.
Well, hopefully by the time that this episode airs, we can kind of have that announced on there. For sure, we're gonna put, like I said, the links to the DAWGS website and then upcoming shows. I think it's important that we try to get you a couple more sponsors too. So, like, if there's anybody out in the audience that wants to support a terrific band with great causes, definitely connect.
Absolutely. There's many levels.
Yes.
So
it's definitely flexible to your price range for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and the other thing is, again, like the music industry, anybody that wants to, donate to a cause, there's raffles, right? There's so many different things that you can do outside of just pure out sponsoring. I mean, we'll take a signed guitar to raffle off, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Or play,
right?
Or play.
Well, it increases in value then, right?
That's
once
right.
you guys.
Well, it depends who touches it. If Lou does, it goes up. If I do,
it goes down.
It goes
I
down.
do. Definitely. Take it back.
That's awesome.
It's really an interesting story you talk about that. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, go ahead.
Chrissy met a woman yesterday who happened to be she was on the dance floor the whole day, I think.
Yeah.
Wasn't she?
Yeah.
And she volunteered to donate a gift basket to an upcoming event. It's really kind of neat to see, when we get down in there and we're with people, of the community, that everyone starts catching that vibe and wants to help. It's just pretty neat. So
yeah. No, it is special. And again, that's what gravitated me into the band. That's what I saw. There's so many different ways. Really anyone that you encounter can help in some way, even if it's just the band's playing on Saturday. This is where they're going to be, show up, right?
Yeah.
Just spreading that, spreading that word is so important. All right. So let me, this is sort of the stumper question of every episode, but is there anything else that we haven't talked about that you guys definitely want to share? And before we do that, let's just do another DAWGS Up so you guys can kind of think about that question.
DAWGS
All right,
Up.
DAWGS Up.
DAWGS Up.
Yeah.
And share our next couple gigs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
I guess I'll take a shot and then.
Sure.
I think that, it's a summary of kind of everything we talked about, right? So, we just to throw numbers out, right? We've probably raised close to $175,000 for local organizations. We've done somewhere in the neighborhood of 35, or excuse me, how many shows? 60, 70, 80 shows now.
Yeah.
35 different partners.
Yeah.
And so the point is that we feel really fortunate to have met the people that we've met, including you, actually. And we feel fortunate that the community has kind of, as time has gone on, you mentioned we won this award, the Jefferson Award for, supporting the community. So I think the point is that, yes, engage in sponsorship. Yes, engage in, coming down to a show and just being part of the event. Yes, support the organizations that we're trying to support. It's just all boats rise, right, with the tide. Right. So I think that's, we're just going to keep doing what we do. And those numbers will keep going up.
Yeah, I agree. That's awesome.
I would add to that. While, obviously I think we all feel very blessed to be able to do this, to do something we love, to be able to help the community. And we're all very proud of what we've done. We have a lot more work to do.
Sure.
So we don't have an end date in sight for this. So we just want to keep going, and we want to get as many people engaged So if you're listening out there, please reach out to us and please be part of this.
Yeah.
It's a great, great thing,
Absolutely. I would agree with that. I would agree with everything that you guys said. And, I really didn't know fully what I was getting into, right? At first.
Congratulations.
But every event that we do, we will have a liaison or a person from that cause that will come up and they will talk about the cause, and they'll give, a brief explanation of what that cause is doing, and just some background information. And I find myself oftentimes kind of standing back listening, and I'm like, I start to get teary-eyed because I'm like, wow, like there is so much that can be done for every single one of these causes. And oftentimes I think in my own life, like, oh, I know somebody, for this cause, or I know somebody for that cause. And it happens more often than not. And maybe also like the Ronald McDonald House one, because it means so much to me, because when my niece was born, she had to have emergency surgery at a day old and have a part of her lung removed. And that my brother and his wife and family, they stayed at the Ronald McDonald House, and they didn't have to worry about food or anything. They could be there with their 1-day-old baby. And, that stuff, you hear stories like that, and it's not just for that cause, but for all of the causes. And you think, oh my gosh, like, wow, and it's very, you feel a certain way when you're up there and you hear all these stories, and you think about all of the good that is happening that day or that night or whatever. And it's like, oh my gosh, how could you not want to be a part of this? So, to piggyback off what you said, Sweet Lou, is, if you are thinking of a cause that's near and dear to your heart, reach out, let's see if we can partner with that cause and do the same thing for that. I think it's so important that we do that.
But not till 25, because we're booked this
year. You never know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, no, definitely reach out. I think, Chrissy, I can't think of a better way to kind of end this too. And I think you also might sign for a co-host of the show or something. That was awesome.
You got it. Anytime you need me.
Anytime. That's awesome. That sounds terrific, guys. And so I really appreciate you all for not only being on the show, but everything that you do each and every day to make the world a better place. The world is definitely more terrific because we have the dogs in it. And I urge my audience to reach out to each one of these special people to kind of see how they can help you, but also how you can help them, because it is definitely, a give and give kind of feeling with the dogs. So thank you very much for being on the show, guys.
Thank you, brother,
for having us.
Dogs up.
Dogs up.
Thank you for joining us in another episode of That Sounds Terrific. Don't forget to check out the show notes and our website at thatsoundsterrific.com to find the contact information and the best ways to volunteer with the organizations that we feature. If you know someone that is doing terrific things and think they should be featured in a future episode, be sure to email us their name, contact info, and short description of what they're doing at thatsoundsterrific@gmail.com. If you like our show, give us a 5-star rating and give us some social media love by liking our Facebook page, That Sounds Terrific. Follow us on Twitter at Sounds Terrific 2 and Instagram at Sounds Terrific. We love hearing your feedback on how to make our show sound even more terrific. Till next time.